Mark out this morning with James, Zeus, and Pedro. Mark out this morning on Mark Out Mania. Mark out this morning live on the YouTube. Mark out because it's time for Mark Out Mania. Mark Out Mania.
Woo!
Woo!
Yeah.
A little bit of Frankie Goes to Hollywood there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I don't know why I'm doing the Barry White voice. I heard you. You
Good
listen
job.
to Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Gotta get in that ass, Larry.
Hey, hola, amigos, and welcome to the Mark Out Mania.
Yes, sir.
We got James the Extreme Sorno.
I like that one. Very good. That was a good job, Pedro. I'm doing good, buddy. I'm doing good. Hanging in there. I'm ready to get into it today. Ready to get into that ass today. You know, people are pissing me off. People are saying ridiculous things. You know, we got to slap some people around. Ain't that right, MZ? All right, go ahead. Not in the corner. Good girl. Sit, Ubu. Sit. Good dog.
Yo, girl, you gotta come over here because look out, it's the lightning. It's the God of thunder. Zeus King Dark, how are you?
Good.
Hey, Zeus is in his new home.
That's right. Broadcasting from the graphic design room at the Amherst campus of Bryan Stratton.
Look at that. Zeus's new home. He's going to get a TV delivered and a Barco lounge. He's ready to go.
Right.
So, let me just put out there right now at the very start. I watched nothing this week. I think I watched a little bit of that ladies' night out on Sunday, just a little bit. Zeus and I were watching at the same time a little bit, and that's all I've seen this week wrestling wise. So I've seen nothing other than clips. I've seen clips of things and stuff.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. James and I watched the Showcase of Champions as we talked about last week. And then, I've got through most of the way through the Super Show.
Yep, I have 3 matches left, and then unfortunately one of them's Enzo.
Oh well, all three of us watched the Showcase of Champions together. But
yeah.
We talked about that last week.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
The others. Yeah, I've had so.
I
much
watched
going on.
NXT and the 2 ladder matches that were leading up to War Games tomorrow. Saw that. I heard SmackDown shit the bed, so I'm not going to bother with that. So I didn't watch anything else.
Did you watch the best wrestling on the planet, dude?
I'm telling you.
The most watched wrestling show in Canada. Did you watch it? There was so the ratings this week for Dynamite went down. Like they've been going down for a while, I know, but they went like further down. And Dave Meltzer was people were shocked because he was despairing a little bit on the Twitter. He was despairing the ratings, but then
just chill.
Then he latched onto this deal that the ratings were decent in Canada, so he's been harping that hard, like, biggest thing in wrestling in Canada was this week, possibly the whole year.
Right.
So I thought that was funny. Like,
wow, he's such a shill for AEW. You know that?
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah, exactly. That and what was on Wednesday on Dynamite? Oh yeah, the most unnecessary table bumps of all time. Okay. One looked horrible, and the other one was unnecessary, and it was given away on free TV on that matter. You know what I'm saying? On top of that,
it wasn't even like a blood feud match. This is what's.
It's the booking, Pedro. The booking sucks.
What were the rules of this match that they were able to do a gazillion table and
I don't know.
Was it like street fight? Was it? Does anyone know?
I think it was some kind of no holds barred or anything goes match, some bullshit like that.
But why? Like, why he was feuding with Malachi Black, and I know this match came out.
Don't you know in AEW any storyline that's even 2 weeks long is a long drawn out feud?
That's only true if they did it like a year and a half ago, and then they can, when they come back to it around, they can be like long-term storytelling, bro.
Yeah,
long-term story. Long-term storytelling. AEW is it's fucking 2 weeks, 3 if you want a WrestleMania moment. Brutal. Excuse me.
I only saw clips, but the clips I saw, let's see, Arn Anderson fell off the stage at the start, which they had.
That should have been a sign right there to stop the match.
Did you see the hilarious thing where the guy helped him up
and then he beat the shit out of him?
Yeah, but he threw like the worst air punches.
Yeah, I swear, I do not, AEW got called out for those bad air punches from that no-named guy that was,
yeah,
air punching Dustin Rhodes, and you'd think that they would get a hold of that, like literally, like that video's got like 18 million views or something on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you think you would.
Everybody knows that guy can't punch for shit.
Did we ever talk about that clip of Adam Cole and Luchasaurus like throwing like punches at each other?
No, it was more about Luchasaurus and Adam Cole. Adam Cole and the other two idiots trying to powerbomb Luchasaurus.
Right. Yeah, but in that same match, there was a thing where the thing where the wrestlers they'll each hold each other by the head and throw punches with the other free arm. You ever see wrestlers do that? They do it fairly often in matches, it seems. Well, they were doing that, but the punches looked like so bad, and they're just, and you see people in the front row and stuff are like kind of like yawning, and you see this kind of older guy kind of making faces in the front row, like because the whole deal looks so bad. I know that's months ago now, but it was, I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Back to the burning discussion here.
Right.
Burning Ring of Fire.
Why? Okay, so it starts with Arn falling off the stage and that whole deal. Then you get endless chair spots. Like they go through a bunch of chair spots, and all the chair spots look bad in my opinion. All these things of like throwing it to the other one and the other person catching it, and then doing this and this. They did more than one variation of this. It isn't like they did one version of this. They did multiple. Like I saw the GIFs. There's multiple variations they went through on a chair. The one with the moonsault was ridiculous to me because Andrade does the moonsault. Cody does that weak like throw, upwards, and Andrade has to catch it in midair. Then he has to land, you have to land on his feet. So he has to stop, and then he has to, so there's a delay, and then he has to bump for catching the chair. And I'm like, it looks so dumb. It looks so bad.
You want to talk about delay? How about when Andrade hits him and then Cody waits almost like 5 minutes and throws himself backwards on the table? That's a delay.
Yeah, then so they move from the chairs to the tables, and they do more than one table spot before they do the flaming one. And you have the whole deal. Brandy comes out in a disguise, and I feel like if someone comes out in a disguise in a Cody Rhodes match, how many times have they done this now? It's Brandy. It's like always Brandy. So
must have put in the disguise.
Yeah, like just have her come out.
Right. Look, I'm the whore. I'm gonna light the tables on fire. That's it.
The whore. So the fire, did she put too much lighter?
What? Did she? She needs to call Bulls Mahoney there for a second because she was like, "Yo, like, what are you doing, man? You're not barbecuing a slab of ribs. I mean, what's wrong with you?" She was pouring that shit on like that. That's a fire, you know. She was going bananas. That shit was hot. I ain't gonna lie.
It was a pretty high fire.
That fire was ridiculous. I'm like, "Yo, what are you doing, man? You gonna kill your husband?" I said, "Damn, what you trying to collect the insurance money? Savage."
It was funny that Andrade doesn't touch the table at all.
Andrade was like, "I'm good."
He gets contact with the fire when because Cody Rhodes, his wrist tape was on fire and part of his boots were on fire. So when Cody goes to cover him, that's when like his arm with the wrist tape on fire touches Andrade's chest. So that's when Andrade meets fire is when he's being covered.
It was an unnecessary spot. It was unnecessary. Not to mention, you give it away on free TV. It should be on a pay-per-view and a big culmination of a feud. Okay, it's just and if you're gonna do a spot like that, do it right. I mean, do it right. Don't put yourself in danger like that because Cody's back got fucked up, like horribly, and for what? For nothing. For absolutely nothing. He went through 19 tables, 2 of them in slow motion. Okay, it looked bad. It didn't look good at all.
Slow motion.
It did. It did. Come on, Pedro. He threw himself on that top rope in slow motion.
I'm just laughing about.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was bad, and this is what all the Coke kids are screaming at. Oh, AEW, you're an idiot. That's the best thing in the history of flaming tables. No. Stop.
Well, we forgot there's the whole deal with he pulls out a sledgehammer and then he's like, oh no.
Oh, and then the
golden shovel.
I mean, you did that shit 2 years ago. Fine. You did your thing at the beginning of the very first pay-per-view of AEW. It was cute then, and we got it. Move on. You don't do it 2 years later. Triple H doesn't care. He's recovering from a cardiac event. You think he's give a shit about you pulling out a shovel? You're an idiot. You, my friend, are a complete idiot. Nobody cares. Move on. Stop mentioning WWE wrestlers on your program. Stop nodding to Triple H. Nobody cares. If you want to separate yourself and if you want to act like the company that you think you are, then don't worry about what the other person is doing. Don't worry about what the other company is doing. Get your shit together, do it right, and let it speak for itself. Not nonsense like this. And I'm sorry, AEW sucks moose balls.
I mean, we're just gonna keep coming back to this thing. If you remember, excuse me, when they had their very first world title match. Do you remember this back in 2019? We talked about this. That I said why it's a brand new company. You've just decided this title, and then the very first title defense is street fight rules.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You should have some traditional, rules, matches, defenses for this title before you
build up the title.
Before you start doing the novelty. But the very first defense ever of this championship was a thing. And to me, my alarm bells back then was like, this is their line of thinking for everything. They're just going to do this kind of stuff for everything. And again, I mentioned here, this was just like a match that was off of another feud. So it's not like a blood feud. Why are they having like weapons and all this stuff for a television match? Why couldn't they just have like a regular match? They could have brawled and then lead up to, it could have ended in a big thing of them falling through a thing and whatever, but it didn't have to be on fire. No.
On Anderson, just like you said, falling off the stage, it just proves my point that these older guys should not have them cut promos in the back or have them cut promos in the ring. Don't give them physical action. Only one person should be doing physical action in their 60s, and his name is George South. Everybody else shouldn't be in the goddamn ring.
Hey, this isn't the first time Arn Anderson has fallen.
No,
in AEW.
Yeah.
Tully Blanchard trying to do a suplex. My God, like he's gonna break his back. No, come on, guys, stop. The fucking Sting shouldn't be in that ring. Nobody, stop.
When Tully Blanchard did that suplex, the suplex looked fine. It was just he couldn't, like, he had such trouble getting up.
Did you see his face afterwards? You look like he was sucking air for an hour and a half.
Of course.
Okay?
I mean, he shouldn't be doing that.
No, Sting shouldn't be in the ring because he can get hurt. You know, Ric Flair shouldn't be in the ring anymore. I mean, guys, no, come on, guys, no. You guys are good at what you do. Don't, cut your promos in the back, or get in the ring and cut a promo. Do that because you guys probably Tully Blanchard probably cuts better promos than 90% of that roster.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, I'm sorry. I'm just going on a rant here. I'm sorry. I got worked up before the show. That's why. FDR is the fucking pro. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, before we get into that, Zeus, what do you think about the whole Cody Rhodes burning table, or this AEW stunt booking thing?
I mean, it just like, I don't feel the feud. It's like he's like trying so hard to do these things where people are going to respect him or like him more or whatever. And I'm like, half of everybody hates you, and then the other people, the people that still like you anyway are going to go along with it because that's how they are. So just be an asshole, you're an asshole. Just be an asshole. Stop trying to, I mean, it's like, do we really remember Dusty for his great matches, or do we remember him for his great feuds?
Mm-hmm.
We remember him for his great feuds, and his great feuds always took place over time against the same or similar opponents. I mean, he feuded with Tully Blanchard before the Horsemen were even formed.
Yep.
He all of that happened. I mean, Dusty was a huge catalyst, for the Horsemen forming. So if you say, what, why is, how many different opponents has Cody had in AEW? A lot. I mean,
yeah.
he won that TNT belt, and he was like, it was like automatically like the Cody Rhodes World Tour of, I'm going to defend this every week and try to make other people look good, but I'm not going to lose the belt. I mean, like, right after he won it, it's like, they don't have, they need people who, they keep trying to put these great matches together, but it's like, well, if you're not going to build it up, then, what they did with, what's the skateboard kid?
Darby.
Oh God!
But I mean,
you're not
skateboard kid.
You're not wrong, Zeus. I'm just laughing at this is what he is, the skateboard kid.
He's the third member of the Dynamic Dudes.
I'm sorry, Zeus. Go on.
No, but I mean, it's I just feel like that, he just, it just, you're killing yourself for these things with no buildup.
Mm-hmm.
So people are going to remember you doing this dumbass shit, but they're never going to remember, your great feud with Andrade because you didn't have one.
Right.
I mean,
it was what, 2 weeks long, 2.5 weeks long, if that, 3 weeks, something like that.
I don't know. I mean, I'd never heard of them going after each other before now.
Again, it was some offshoot of like Malachi Black and Andrade teaming or something against Cody. So it's like an offshoot of a bigger feud he had. And so it's weird that culminates in this fucking weapons thing. I just don't get it. I mean, I just want to make frustrated noises.
It's tough. It's tough.
The Dusty Rhodes thing is sticking with me a lot right now because, I mean, when you said that, it's like, yeah, Dusty. We don't think about Dusty's matches. We think about his promos,
his feuds,
his angles,
right? And we think about the wins and losses. I mean,
it
was
moments, his moments, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, but all the moments were based off of great feuds.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean
absolutely.
Magnum and Dusty going after the Midnight Express.
Yeah.
I mean, they were the Midnight Riders. They were doing, they were coming out and kicking the crap out of the bad guys, wearing masks and trench coats. And I mean, that shit was fucking great. I mean, it was just people ate it up and went berserk. But it was, I mean, that shit was like, 3 months long, every week, and in every arena. They hop around so much, and they want to call somebody this great booker and all, but I don't see it, man.
No, the Zeus have brought this up multiple times. They're not giving people stories. They're no like stories. They just have people do shit, and then sometimes they do shit on that BTE or on this YouTube thing, that YouTube thing, and then people are like, "Oh, they had all this build on the thing. It's your fault if you don't know it." And it's like people aren't gonna watch the fucking YouTube bullshit.
Exactly.
Like a big portion of your audience is only going to see what's on TV and what's on pay-per-view, possibly.
Yeah, because people have lives. Yeah.
So they're only going to know what's on TV. So don't build up a thing on YouTube or on social media and stuff and then be like, well, they did all this stuff. It's your fault if you don't know it. It's like, what are you talking about? That's your fault that we don't know it.
Yeah, this is why you should be watching the TV program. I mean, and way back in the day, one of the issues was, they were trying to sell you going to the live events that weren't televised.
Yeah.
They used TV to get you to go see the live event because something might happen at the live event. And things did happen, and then that's why they always showed, they would show clips on the syndicated shows because, it was all the build up, and they would, you were getting out. Now, of course, it's a little different now because we have, it's harder to do live events and but still, I mean, it's and I really the whole ratings thing, I don't even pay attention to that anymore because, if I think that, if TNT was overly, I mean, if they were like doing like shit ratings, like if they were doing like less than 100,000, I think that TNT, the Turner networks would be concerned.
Right.
But they're not. They're happy to have the wrestling on there. It's doing good. I mean, it's their channels have had like zero original content in years. I mean, it's like it's like 23 hours a day. It's Law and Order. It's kind of like USA. I mean, they're just kind of flapping around, and everybody needs content now. So I just don't even give a shit.
The ratings thing is dumb because ratings are down for all television except for news events and sports events. These are the only things that consistently get actual ratings because they're the only things consistently people still have to watch on actual TV.
Yep.
Everything else people can watch through streaming services, or they can watch it later on a DVR or this or that, blah, blah, blah. So it's nothing is must see anymore, like any television.
or YouTube 10-minute highlight. You know, that's it.
Yeah, so I mean, the ratings thing is dumb in that sense that anyone makes a deal about it, especially since the wrestling ratings, they're between the WWE and AEW, they're competing for basically like 2 million viewers according to these ratings. So they're not. I mean, it's just up and down that scale. It seems to be. So it's such a tiny, drop in a big thing. It's a niche a genre of entertainment.
Right. And I mean, but the whole thing is, I mean, I don't, just the whole, just, it's like the need to discuss it and act like it's,
because they're cosplaying the fucking 90s still. They're still cosplaying
the
whole, like,
it's not the Monday Night Wars anymore. Exactly.
Like Monday Night Wars, they were getting, 6 to 7 million people watching shit, or, whatever the numbers were. That's a whole different ball game. I mean, once upon a time, was it TNA was on Spike, and they're getting like 1 point something million people, and Spike was like, I think we should cancel these people already.
Yeah.
So think about that. Like,
well, here's
TNA
the thing too about see also, like, TNA on Spike was getting a lot of backlash because they were they were starting to put a lot of UFC content on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that Ultimate Fighter show was so hot especially that first season, and that the Ultimate Fighter finale, the Stephen Bonner Forrest Griffin match, like it's legendary because it was literally word of mouth people going, man, this fight is crazy. And I was literally part of that because I called my friend Jay and I was like, dude, you have to turn this fight on right now and watch it, because it, each of the 3 rounds, it kept getting crazier, and they just beat the shit out of each other to try to win this, to try to win that contract. And TNA was looking bad because it was pro wrestling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It was pro wrestling. And then here you had guys, where people that, anybody that was still believed that there was some sense of, realism left in pro wrestling, watch UFC and were like, oh, well, that bullshit's fake. And I think by, Spike going, well, I think we can really hitch our wagon to this, I think that they were just really clearing out, prime, time on the network to get rid of that for more UFC stuff, which, I mean, today that's the Paramount Network.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good point, Zeus. There it is. And there isn't, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, SmackDown was blah. The only thing good about Raw was the return of The Miz, and he cuts a good promo with Edge, And, Edge kind of mentioned AEW TV, which I don't like, don't worry about what the other guy's doing,
Yeah.
But I just tell him you got people in other promotions mentioning your name. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So it's, it's.
Who's mentioning
the rating? What?
You said
AEW was talking about The Miz.
Why?
Right.
Why?
Yeah.
Like, what's the context? Why were they bringing up The Miz?
CM Punk and MJF were doing a promo.
Oh, that bullshit.
Fine. And CM Punk called him a low rate. Yeah, he called him a budget Miz.
I put it out in my head, James.
Right.
Okay.
So, but Edge. So it was Edge and The Miz made his return this week on Raw. I remember Maurice showed up, and Edge was like, "Oh, you were good. You made something out of nothing. Nobody thought you would go this far. You even got other people on other shows talking about you. But now you show me no respect and blah blah blah." So apparently, Beth Phoenix is no longer calling matches in NXT. Supposedly, she's going to show up on Raw, And supposedly she's going to team with her husband against Miz Maurice. I think that's what's going to happen.
Oh, so that's why. I
Yeah.
was wondering what the story was there.
Yeah, that's it right there. So that was the only thing worth watching on Raw. Everything else was there. So it's just the ratings are what the ratings are going to be.
Well, yeah, because
that's it. There's not going to be any more great influx of ratings anymore, only because there's too much content. There's too much other content for people to watch.
I mean,
you can stream everything now. You stream everything now.
Would you rather watch, the Peter Jackson's The Beatles Get Back documentary series, or would you rather watch, Raw or AEW?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Which, by the way, Stephanie and I saw the first part last Saturday, and
it's good.
It was pretty great. But you have to. It's one of those things you have to be a geek about the Beatles, I think, to get into it, because otherwise you're probably just watching hours of people argue and play music over and over.
Yeah. I hear you. No, it's just it's everybody starts talking about ratings and fighting over this. It plateaued during the Monday Night Raws. That's it. You're never going to get that again, ever. For the simple reason, there's too much content, other content out there now. Everybody's got a streaming service, and there are more streaming services popping up overnight. Seems like, So it's things have changed. WWE had the network. They could have built something really big out of that, but instead they sold it to Paramount. So Universal. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I missed the network so much.
I missed the network too. It was great.
It was the whole platform was so much easier to use than Peacock and
what we have now is a watered down version of it.
Yeah, it's just not the same.
No, the network is great, and they could have really got something out of that, but Vince wanted to sell it for $1 billion. I mean, it's a lot of money, So you can't blame him, but still, it just proves my point that he's getting ready to sell the company, because otherwise you hold on to that shit. Especially this day and age where it's all about streaming.
Yeah, because I mean, they were buying up all those archives of all these promotions.
They had Mid-South, World Class, AWA, they had USWA, they had SMW, they had Evolve, they have
Progress,
Progress, all that
WXW and this
WXW,
But the deal there is like that made sense on the network, but now like Peacock doesn't care about that shit. Like, what does Peacock care about Mid-South?
I was watching Mid-South Wrestling on the network. I was watching AWA clips. I like watching Shawn Michaels when he's coked up. It was awesome.
Hey, James, you mentioned FTR, so that brings up something. Didn't they release some tag team rankings still this week?
Oh God. I don't even want to. I can't, Zeus. I can't. I can't.
Well, it's once again, Pro Wrestling Illustrated in the new Millennium strikes with, their formulaic, stuff, and of course that they're in the same boat with Meltzer. They're appealing to the non WWE, the AEW fans, because everybody believes that AEW fans are not only smarter, but they're more affluent. But
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so they released their top 50 tag teams for the last year, and the not young anymore Bucks ended up being ranked number 1.
The Young Bucks, wow.
Yeah. So they were number 1. Lucha Brothers number 2.
Over the Usos, I would over the Usos, over the Lucha Brothers, over Dangerous Tekkers, over so many other people. The Young Bucks, really? I mean, me and Mrs. Zero are better tag team than the Young Bucks. Come on.
I like I said, I mean, it's all about that time period. I wasn't watching their crap. you know. But I mean, everybody went gaga. I mean, it's kind of par for the course. I mean, you know, Dave Meltzer went nuts for and all the AEW fans acted like the Young Bucks versus Omega and Hangman was like the greatest tag team match of all time.
Yeah. Oh, and again, I know I said this back when it happened when I watched it, but the big crime in a way is that they overrated that so much because it was a fairly decent match on its own, like mostly driven by this story of like Hangman Page versus the Bucks. Like they kind of, it was one of the few matches from AEW where I could say, oh, that was a good match. But they were like, this is the best tag team match ever on North American soil. And then suddenly you're comparing it to the best tag team matches you've ever seen. So now it's a piece of shit, right? Because how's it going to compete with like all these amazing matches?
Mm-hmm.
So you actually end up hurting the thing. But yeah, go on. I apologize.
Oh.
I mean, it's just, you know, it's all of them, you know.
You know, it is what it is now. I guess, you know, I guess you're right about like it's following the Meltzer's, you know, formula. You know, it's just I don't know. I don't know anymore. I mean, all wrestling on TV has gone to shit. It has. It has. It has. We need another Lucha Underground. This is exactly what we need because this is not working anymore. And the AEW rabid fan base is going to like it, even when the shit is because it is shit and they love it.
Yeah.
So you know, and you know, you know, you guys remember I bought the very first pay-per-view. I was all in. I was ready to rock and roll.
I remember.
And yeah, I was all excited. Yeah, and you know, all of us watched it, right? Did we watch it? And
I watched it later, I think.
Yeah.
But you watched it that night, and you were.
Yeah. I was all into it. I was ready to do it. I was like, AEW, I even posted and shit. AEW, I'm all in. I'm ready. And then it just went to shit. You know, and you know, just because you have CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, you know, Hangman Page, Kenny Omega, etc., 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 doesn't mean you know you know exactly what to do and how to use them. I mean, you got Adam Cole, and what is he doing? Nothing. Nothing. He's playing with himself in the corner. Nothing. Okay, nothing. I mean, you got Luchasaurus stuck in this stupid fucking tag team where he should be choke slamming everybody and their mother. Okay, he should be destroying everyone. It's just you know, you had Lance Archer, who's a legit badass that did nothing with him. I just don't get it. I don't get it. No.
Well, what about that WrestleCade though? Did you get that?
I actually enjoyed watching WrestleCade. Is it perfect? Of course not. It's far from it, but it's fun.
I was trying to segue to something positive. Yeah.
Well, you want to hear something positive? Those two ladder matches on this past NXT were good.
Oh, okay. Tell us about that.
Well, the first ladder match to set up the ladies' war games, it was the Dakota Kai, that brutal bitch, against Kaylee Ray. And let me tell you something. Kaylee Ray was showing people why she was the NXT UK Women's Champion for all that time. She put on a show. I was like, Kaylee Ray, do your thing. It was a good ladder match. Was it perfect? No. There was a couple of oops and I could hear them calling spots and stuff, but it was good. And then the men's ladder match where you alluded to, Pedro, that you know, like everybody's making a big deal out of between Braun Breaker and fucking Johnny Gargano. It was good. Was it great? No, I've seen better ladder matches, but it was very good. It was good. But Braun Breaker and Johnny Gargano work really, really well together, and that's what made that match. Braun Breaker sold. He sold when he should have sold, and he didn't sell when it made sense not to sell. Because he's like twice the size of Gargano. So if Gargano punches him in the face, he's not going to fall flat on his ass. He didn't sell it. He was like, "What is it? You hit like a you hit like a pussy." But then Johnny Gargano gave him a missile drop kick right in the face, and Braun Breaker flew across the ring. And he sold at the right time. They worked well together. It was a very good ladder match. Very good. It was good stuff. All the rest of the content, but NXT 2.0, it is what it is. It sucks. So, but the 2 ladder matches were good, and we got War Games tomorrow, so we'll see what happens. They're changing up Cameron Grimes, which I don't like. LA Knight's a
Why are
face
they
now.
changing Cameron Grimes?
They changed him. He's a darker character. He doesn't laugh like that anymore. He's all about mean and
But why?
He was very over, but Vince wants to change it.
And like his goofiness would work in the 2.0, wouldn't it? Like, I don't understand why the change.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. But it's just they're changing him, and it's just I can't. A lot of this stuff is like, what the hell are you doing? It's just, I don't know. We'll see.
Now's when you're supposed to say I refuse. No, I'm joking.
I refuse.
I refuse.
I refuse. It's brutal. But I hope War Games is good. On the flip side of War Games, there was WrestleCade. Now, see, the thing that makes WrestleCade good is because we don't have that many high expectations for WrestleCade. What we want to do is see some fun wrestling and have a good time. And Zeus, you know better than all of us. It was some pretty good stuff that we watched, right?
Oh yeah, from Showcase of Champions into the, into the Super Show.
Yeah.
They actually made that Battle Royal fun toward the end. I mean, it's kind of is a lot less of a cluster than a lot of Battle Royals, because they kind of they weeded out the little guys, and then
that
it was just,
one guy's horrible. What's his name? You were talking about him last night, remember? Oh,
Kerry Morton.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, he needs to head back into the school of Morton.
And something's got to give with that guy. Oh shit! I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I think that they had those the good big guys, that the eliminations weren't too crazy. Falaba, he was a favorite to win because he'd won. I think he won the last one, and and then that great big monster Cyrus.
That guy was huge.
He is a big scary dude. Let me tell you.
What? That guy was bigger than. I think he was bigger than everyone in the building.
The first time I saw him wrestle in AML, he wrestled JB Cole, that little guy in that opening match.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. So it looked like a giant, running down a little kid. So White Mike hit that amazing spinning neck breaker in that opening match.
I like White Mike. I do. Yeah. I can't lie. I like him.
He's fun. He's funny, but he also kicks ass.
Yeah, he does. He can hold his own with those big guys too.
Yeah, and they said that that Jay Lethal knew who he was just from the neck breaker. They were, because apparently he was watching from backstage and was asking somebody else. It's like, hey, that's That's that White Mike guy that's got that crazy spinning neck breaker. And, apparently he was really blown away by that. But, but that was great. The other 6-man tag was good.
Yeah.
With Matt Cross and.
I enjoyed that match. I thought that match was okay.
Yeah. I mean, Timmy, the Infinite Man, he's excellent.
Yeah, he was the guy. The other guy. Who's the other guy? The Byron or Braven or something like that. Oh man, he was doing some nice stuff, man. Shit, man, what was his name?
It's right on the tip of my tongue. I can see his
face. It's that tall, lanky guy. Yeah, he's good, man. He's good.
But they had guys, they got guys that are coming up and getting better. I think it's just there's a huge upswing to AML and the WrestleCade, family.
I think so. And you know what? Everybody put over AML as all the faces, right? Because Fandango came in, he was being the dick heel.
Boy, didn't he look strange?
Yeah, there was something wrong with him, right?
It felt like
he lost like muscle mass or something. He lost something.
Yeah, it felt very strange to see him after because I didn't see him much in WWE, but I mean he was like a real, like pretty boy type of wrestler, right?
He didn't look too good, and Fandango.
Oh yeah, okay, Fandango.
Yeah,
I saw a lot of him in NXT. And he looked nothing like what he used to.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, James, he was starting to look. He was looking different in NXT versus when he was on
at the end. But he looked bad, Pedro. But you gotta see him on the show. He looked bad. He looked like he was hitting that pipe a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh God. Is he hanging out with that Rhett Titus guy?
Maybe.
I'm joking. I don't want to slander anyone, but because Rhett Titus's face looks like he's been blasted by meth, like crystal meth or something.
No, but he looks different. No, this is right. He looks like unkept, and he was always very neat, very very all together. He just looked very unkempt,
Yeah, he looked like he'd been on a week long bender, got up.
Yeah, just roll. Yeah, he just rolled in from a party. He's like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's it's like I'm all for breaking away from whatever, and I mean, he kind of fits your Dirty Dango name, but
he's dirty for a whole other reason. He's like legit dirty now. Like
yeah. But like he cut a good heel promo.
Dango. He's take a shower Dango now.
Yeah.
With all due respect, to Pentagon, I'm sorry, but Shane Taylor does the best package pile driver ever. That shit is awesome.
Oh my God.
That shit it kills you.
Yeah. Yeah, he's killing fucking with that thing, man.
His pile driver is a legit finisher. Like,
oh, absolutely.
Especially when Shane Taylor does it. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Shane Taylor is a legit finisher. Like no one, when he hits that, no one should ever kick out. In my opinion.
No one should ever dare kick it out. Are you crazy?
Right. It should be treated like a death finish going forward.
Yeah. Kill him. Like,
well, you know what? That wouldn't be a bad idea if let's say Ring of Honor was still around, or what? I know they're still around technically, but like if they were still, going to be a thing, or maybe even NWA or something, if they were, someone was to do something like you have Shane Taylor, have him like hit people with that, have the people be out for like a week or a few weeks.
Yeah, that's how you get people off TV. Yeah.
But build him up.
His shit. Not for nothing, but his package power driver makes Pentagon look
Yeah. And I mean, so many people like do it now. Like he's not the only one who does it. Like Pentagon
No,
kind of
but
got it
you know,
over, and then a bunch of people started doing it.
Yeah, but I hear package power driver. I think Pentagon. You know, I know a lot of people do it now.
Someone was doing that.
I know a lot of people
like,
do it now. Yeah. Didn't Joe used to do one? Samoa Joe used to do one? He would do that and Knuckle Buster.
The Muscle Buster, I remember, yeah.
Yeah. But oh man.
Hey, I'm starting NXT right now while y'all talk, so continue.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. Just watch the women's ladder match and the men's ladder match.
Yeah, that's all I'm gonna
skip.
do.
Yeah. Actually, the women's ladder match is the very first thing, so you're good.
Yeah. I'm loving.
Was Shane Taylor killed Zeus? What was that guy's name? He gave the who did he give the package power driver to?
Was that Swinger?
No, that wasn't Johnny Swinger, right? No. I forgot who it was. I don't know who it was, but he looked like he was dead. DED, dead.
Yeah.
That guy was brutal. That was good, man. I actually like him, not bad. Fucking Shane Taylor, I like. He's good. He's good. But it was a decent show, right, Zeus? It wasn't bad.
No, I thought it was, you know, I mean, I did the, you know, I got the, you know, I got, you know, to get through the last two matches, but
yeah, I have to watch the last three. I actually have to watch the last three. I have to watch the women's match. I have to watch Stupid Enzo, and then I gotta watch the main event. I saw a guy there's a big guy in the first row wearing a certified G shirt. I almost threw up on my mouth.
He was really popular, man. At WrestleCade the last time in 2019 when he came. It like I know it sounds crazy and all, but
they love him. People love him.
Yeah,
people love him.
Like we said last week, it's just a thing. He was so good on the mic. Like when he was good on the stick. It was just a thing. He had charisma.
Yeah.
He added all the other stuff, and apparently being a person.
Yeah, but being an asshole all the time doesn't work because he was an asshole.
Yeah.
You know? So it was rough. Hey, Zeus, did you like the Matt Cardona Jay Lethal match?
Yeah, that was fun. I thought it was funny they brought out Jay Lethal with Lady Frost and
yeah, Black Machismo and Elizabeth, and he goes, "Wait a minute, you're not Elizabeth."
So
I thought Chelsea Green was going to come out.
Right? Yeah, you know she was there, so
yeah, they were chanting her name, right? Were they chanting her name at one point?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, she's still pretty popular too. It's interesting, but
I thought the match was pretty good. You know, it was a fun match. That was fun.
And then Jeff Jarrett came out and hit him with the guitar, and he'd been making a huge deal out of that. You know, all week after that on social media. You know, I was like, everybody stop sharing that video. Me getting hit in the head with it.
I like how Cardona sold it though. He sold it really well, you know.
Oh.
You know, he was like, you know, he took his time falling to the mat. It was like timber. Poof. I was like, good job.
Yeah.
WWE should have never got rid of him. He's so good, man.
Well, you know what though? You know, you can't keep people around forever.
Yeah, but no,
You
but
know?
he was a hit in the house shows. You know, like he was a big hit
Zack
in the house
Ryder.
shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but the thing with Zack Ryder,
On
okay,
TV, he sucked, but in the house shows, he was amazing.
no. Well,
he
the
was a
thing
big
was
crowd favorite.
he got himself over via his YouTube stuff, right?
Yeah.
So he legit got himself over. He had such a big love from the fans, and the WWE like punished him for it, like just constant burial for getting himself over. And then, if you remember, after years of like that kind of punishing him for getting over, the fans stopped. The fans stopped being into him eventually. So I don't see what what more were they going to do with him in the WWE?
I mean, really, it's you got to make him like into a trainer or something,
Yeah, I mean, if
right?
anything,
I think he's good. I believe he's good to have on your roster. Yeah, especially if you do it house shows again. He gets the crowd, all hyped up, and that's what you want.
But he wasn't getting them that hyped up anymore.
And the house shows he was, Pedro. He was a big hit on the house shows on TV.
For a
They buried him
while, for a few years, but then after they killed him for like years, the fans weren't.
But
So
that's my point. Why
anymore.
would you kill somebody like that who does such a good job for you in the house shows, especially when you try to make money? Especially if you're going to go back to it.
To me, if they still have the network, the real value for someone like him is you let him have shows on the network, like shows about his toys, shows about this or that.
Yeah, he's got a massive collection, man. This guy's got legit toys.
I mean, I kind of feel like that thing they did with the treasure hunt or whatever they were doing on the A&E. I mean, it would have been a good candidate for something like that. Because he was already doing stuff like that. He found the nude Miss Elizabeth figure. I mean,
I just think it was a waste to let him go. No.
So they, I can't remember in the 80s or the 90s, they produced a Miss Elizabeth figure. And there was a prototype. They made like a few of them. It was just for like the people developing it. It's like a joke. They made like a nude one. And he managed to finally track one of those down. It cost him like a ton of money.
Oh wow,
that's something to have.
Yeah, he's always been pretty famous for his his toy collection.
I'm just saying. I think it's somebody that could have to. If it was my company, I would definitely have him on my roster, big time.
Well, but we don't know what they're doing, anymore, and he
looks good. He can talk. He can wrestle. He's entertaining. He's charisma. He's charismatic.
He was like off TV. He wasn't being utilized. I mean,
he wasn't being utilized. That was the whole point. He wasn't being utilized.
I mean, there was so many people that were like sitting in catering. I mean, even like if you track Mandy Rose's career, I mean, there's been a lot of time where she's done like next to nothing.
Yeah.
And I mean, they finally found her a thing now that really clicks with people. So.
Well, I would hope they would. I would hope they would give a push after spending a summer making out with Otis.
Jesus. Well, but you know what's weird? Do you remember we talked about the Otis stuff? That soap opera stuff was actually over with fans.
Yeah, they love that shit.
I know we didn't like it, but I saw so many people talking about it. I saw so many people like just invested in the soap opera angle.
I'm not the biggest Mandy Rose fan, but I gotta admit she's killing it with Toxic Attraction on NXT. She's doing a thing. She's doing a thing.
And like we mentioned in the past, she seems to be working better, like in terms.
She has been working better. Yeah. Her ring work has got significantly better.
She works more like a bodybuilder chick who will beat you up. So
yeah.
Anyways, I didn't mean to detract from the.
No, it's good.
No, I mean it's overall it's the the same type of thing now.
So. Yeah, but we'll see. You know.
On the Zack Ryder thing, what I was gonna say, so he was in AEW for like a month, and it didn't really seem to click. And then he was in Impact a little bit, and that didn't seem to click either. So, what is does he really have all these positives that we think he has?
Well, you know, he showed up on Good Cocaine Wrestling and blew up again.
Because he was everything that people hated.
Yeah,
He was accentuating everything that people hated about it. It's just like Jerry Lawler going to ECW.
Yeah, right.
Oh
right.
my God.
Right? I mean, it's like Jerry Lawler running his mouth about, being
extremely crappy wrestling. Yeah.
Right. And it's like, excuse me, Mr. I've lived in, I've, gained my fame in Memphis, Tennessee, and, been hosting, been part owner and whatever of USWA for all these years. It's like, for, running, the same kind of, punch and kick, crazy ass, brutal matches and stuff like that. I mean, it's like, people don't go watch Memphis wrestling for like great scientific fucking, wrestling and whatever. So
no,
but it was just, it's just really funny to see.
PG-13.
Yeah, and I mean, Billy Joe Travis. I mean, the dude was built like a noodle.
Yeah,
he's built like a noodle. I mean, PG-13. They look like fucking, like high school fucking, fake drug dealers.
They're like fourth grade stunt doubles.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean.
Yeah, they're horrible.
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry. I was reacting to that double foot stomp off the ladder.
Shit. Yeah, I told you, man. I told you, man, it's a good match. And it was good. It was good. I liked the Super Show. It was okay. It was pretty good. Jay Lethal, Matt Cardona was good. Dirty Dango.
I need to see this.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the Showcase of Champions we watched last week.
Yeah. I thought that was very good.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Zeus and I, what I watched with Zeus, I know Zeus saw the whole thing, but of that ladies' night out was not.
Easy.
Actually, how was it?
It could have been better. There were some things that were good, and then some things that were not so good.
How bad was it, Zeus? Come on.
It wasn't my favorite night of wrestling.
Oh, that says a lot.
I mean, I'd rather watch that than AEW. But.
Wow. Okay. Anything stand out on that? Anything stand out on the show that it was that bad?
I mean, it's just some of the.
Or was it just overall just didn't click?
Yeah. Sometimes it's tough. I don't know how often some of these girls work with each other, but I thought it could have been. I thought it could have been a little bit better. I mean, some of them were, it just seemed like sometimes they were just on different pages than the other.
Right.
And I mean, I've seen that, in all kinds of wrestling. So
yeah. I hear you.
But I mean that like the main event was pretty good. There were some other matches that were pretty good. So, I mean, if you like women's wrestling, I would definitely watch it.
Well, actually, I'm looking forward to finishing the Super Show because the first match I pick up with is the triple threat with Thunder Rosa, Donna Purrazzo, and I think it was Mercedes Martinez, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that.
where else do you get to see that now?
Yeah, exactly. I heard Thunder Rosa was way over with the fans. So.
Oh man, when she came through the curtain for the Super Show, the place exploded.
Yeah, she's over. She's over everywhere she goes.
But yeah, and that last time that I saw her in AML, I believe it was 2019, and she beat Statlander, but she was way over that night too. I mean, she had the longest line for merch and pictures and everything. And I remember I went and said hello to her, because I'd already met her the year before at WrestleCade and everything, but it's just I was really happy for her, that everybody was going crazy for her. I mean, she was just like, I mean, she's done so much. It's been a lot. So much effort. And thank God that her MMA fight didn't go badly and she didn't get hurt or anything like that.
Yeah, because that looked ugly.
It didn't ruin her momentum or anything. It just really kind of gave people the a little bit of a layer of toughness. It's like, wow, she did an MMA fight, she didn't get knocked out or submitted or anything like that.
Her face got fucked up, but she stood tall.
Yeah. I mean, that was the thing is she showed how tough she was. In that. So,
she was bleeding like Mick Foley.
It wasn't a good matchup for her in terms of the styles and stuff. It seemed.
No, but it gave her toughness. It gave a lot of people. She took
the beating.
Yeah, it turned a lot of heads. People were like, wow, she's really tough.
I watched that fight live.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she shouldn't have been in there with that girl.
Right.
That girl was had a lot more experience, and it showed. So, I mean, it really, I mean, it like even more than probably people realize. That's a huge credit to her.
Oh, absolutely.
Because she shouldn't have been in there. She should not have been fighting that girl. That the athletic commission, whatever that is there, and they shouldn't have made that happen because I mean it's just literally her first fight should have been against someone who was either had 2 fights or less,
right?
Not 4, or 5, whatever that girl had. So
absolutely,
but. But like we were saying, she's super over.
Yeah. She worked heel at that Ring of Honor show I went to in Lakeland, and then you know what? She was still over, even as a heel. They loved her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's hard. It's hard to get her as a. I think it's tough to get her as a heel right now because she's.
Oh no! She's a face right now. Yeah, you got to work her as a face right now.
Especially like where some places they especially like AEW nobody knows what a heel or a face is.
Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
Do you know how to stick with something or do you not? No. We're going to change everything, week to week, minute to minute.
No. Zeus. No. She's a heel coming out of the curtain, face walking down the ramp, a heel when she gets to the ring, and then she turns face the minute the match starts. There you go.
So, I was thinking about it recently because of the Daniel Bryan thing. Because I was thinking, like, he's only been there less than 2 months now, something like that, and he's already a heel. Like he's.
I said this before on the other show that we talked about. I thought it was lazy booking. They shouldn't have made Daniel Bryan the heel. I thought it was obvious. It should have been built up as a face versus face match against Hangman Page. I thought that would have worked a lot better.
Shit.
What's that?
That thing Braun Breaker just did. Holy shit. I want to rewatch that. Shit. Holy shit. Zeus, you would love the fuck out of this.
Yeah,
I gotta see this again. Hold on.
I'll tell you, it's a good match.
I'll call it when I see this.
Yeah, Pedro
Holy
live.
shit.
Pedro's watching NXT.
Whoa. Whoa. Okay, so he let me pause this. He goes to the ropes. Gargano's like on his like get on all fours. He's like pushing himself up from being on the canvas, and Braun like does like this roll where as he's rolling down onto what's his face, his arm like wraps around Gargano's neck, and then he like rolls through, rolls him up like with him, and rolls up to his feet and goes into the vertical suplex, and now he's like holding him up in the air forever, walking around the ring. But it was like some weird amateur wrestling kind of thing.
Did you hear the promo before the match started?
No, I just went right to the match.
Johnny Gargano called Braun Breaker. He said, just because you're the big bad booty uncle. I was like, oh my God.
Called him the uncle, not the nephew?
I mean, that's what he said, nephew. Yeah. That's what he said, nephew. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So the whole crowd was going, booty, nephew. It was funny.
Man, Johnny Gargano is like, he looks like such a skinny geek next to this guy.
I know. That's what I mean.
I feel
and they
bad
work it well
that.
together.
Yeah.
They work well together, man. They're doing it. It's good stuff. I hope Johnny Gargano doesn't leave. I really don't.
I don't think he will. I mean, you know, why would you? Why would you?
Yeah, exactly.
To get to get that love from that AEW fan base, so Meltzer and them will lick your scrotum and be like, you know.
But he's one of the few guys in NXT that Meltzer does lick his scrotum.
Yeah.
I know, but imagine if he's in the holy place, he will get it even licked more.
AEW is now Jerusalem.
Hey, for real, the athleticism by Braun Breaker is just unreal.
It's good stuff, man. I know. He's good.
The stuff they're doing here is so cool.
Mm-hmm. I told you they worked well together, Pedro. It worked well.
Oh wow, he totally no-sold that like clothesline by Gargano, and then that was like watching Rick Steiner do one of those catch power slam things. Holy shit!
Yeah, he really. I mean, from what I've seen of Breaker, he really is like a hybrid of his dad and his uncle.
Yeah, I mean, Zeus, you called it the first time you heard him. If you close your eyes, it's Scott Steiner talking.
Yeah.
You know? He sounds just like him. Booty uncle. I mean, booty nephew. I'm sorry. I keep saying booty uncle. Why do I say that?
What else has been happening? What about did y'all talk New Japan yet?
No. We don't talk about it.
Yeah, I can give us a little rundown here.
Please, Zeus, please. Yes.
I
know we had the big main event this morning.
Yeah, so the standings for Tag League, as it is right now, Naito and Sonata are still at number 1 with 10, but the champions, Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr., have caught up, and they are at 10 as well.
Tachi and Gumby.
Yep. Tamatanga and Tangaloa are in there they're in log jam. It's a 5-way log jam, or no, 4-way log jam at with 8 points. Gorillas of Destiny, Fale and Chase Owens, Goto and Yoshihashi, and Great Khan and Aaron Hanare, representing United Empire. On a side note, Jeff Cobb and TJP have been tagging in CMLL.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Then we got Evil and Yujiro. Apparently Tanahashi and Yano have 8 points now too. So it is five teams with 8 points.
Okay.
Are they still doing that like gang gimmick or that like leather jacket gimmick or?
I don't know.
Tanahashi and Yano, because remember they were coming out the first week or so of the tag league. They were coming out in those leather jackets and.
Oh, quite possible.
Okay.
Then Ten Cozy, Tenzan and Kojima with 4 points. Yuji Nagata and Tiger Mask with 2 points, which is kind of interesting because isn't Tiger Mask one of the junior heavyweight tag team champions right now? Him and Robbie Eagles.
Oh, yeah. Are they?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And then Makabe and Hanma and Suzuki and Michinoku. Neither of them have gotten a win yet. But that's the thing about a lot of New Japan, open block tournaments like this is people never finish how they start out. So, we could see Naito and Sonata slip up here at the end.
Yeah.
We could see anybody slip up here at the end. So
I'm just waiting for Sonata to turn on Naito.
So you want Sonata and Evil to reunite and or whatever, the torture, whatever.
I know that.
Oh fuck! What was the sub thing called with House of Torture or something like
that?
Yeah,
House of Torture, some shit.
Yeah. Bullet Evil Club.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I know Evil has since been exposed as the weak one because he sucks. But just one more run, why not? But I digress. I'm sorry, just go ahead.
So over in Best of Super Junior, Show, speaking of House of Torture, is in the lead with 12 points. Desperado and Hiromu each have 9. Bushi has 8. There's a big logjam with 8 points in this tournament right now. Bushi, Taguchi, Kanemaru, Yo, Robbie Eagles, and El Phantasmo, and Taiji Ishimori all have 8. And Master
somebody's got to start separating from that pack.
Yeah. Well, Master Wato and Doki, Master Wato has 6 and Doki has 4. I mean, you're looking that we're down to the last 3 matchups for each guy.
No fucking way.
And that's the same for the for tag league. It's only 3 matchups left for each team. So it's it's 6 points. If Show wins one more, then he's pretty much guaranteed a spot at the end, I think.
Right.
Holy shit. Sorry.
No, he's still got to win like 2 to make sure he stays. He would have to win 2 of his last 3 to win it all, because he's got, with 12, he could get 6 more points at the end. He could have 18. And he's got to face Robbie Eagles, his old tag team partner Yo, and Ishimori. So it's not a
it's not easy. No,
he could lose.
He could lose all 3.
He could lose. Technically.
Frankensteiner.
Yeah. I was waiting for you to get to that part. Yep.
Holy shit.
Let's see if we look at.
So so what's his next matchup, Zeus?
I don't know, but it's either Eagles, Yo, or Ishimori. Desperado has Taguchi, Bushi, and El Phantasmo left. Those are winnable. Those are he's the favorite in all three of those.
Well, he should win all three.
He should win all three of those. And that would put him at 15 points if he wins all three of those. And then Hiromu he faces Robbie Eagles. Oh, damn, Doki and Master Wato. Holy shit. Those are three winnable ones for him.
Mm-hmm.
They this is coming, once again, it's another one that's kind of coming down to the wire.
I was just about to say they could come down to a wire, tie, a face off.
Well, yeah, well, it's going to be the top two are going to face off at the end.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's pretty much in the air. But anybody right now with 8 that doesn't win out is pretty much screwed.
Done. Yeah, done.
Because I think pretty much because if Sho wins one more, he's got 14. If he only wins one of the next 3, he's got 14. And everybody else that's got 8 right now would have to win all 3 of theirs.
Yeah, they would have to win out, right?
So
you needed somebody to have 10 to put real pressure on Sho.
Yeah, and that time limit draw with Desperado and Takahashi, that would have been, that either one of them would have had 10 if that had
10 points. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. There it is.
Yeah. So
good job, Zeus.
Should be real interesting. Both of them coming down to the wire and seeing whoever wins each each one. So
I was up very, very early this morning at about 5:00, 5:15, and I was on Twitter and it was blowing up for Gorillas of Destiny. They were doing something in that match. I don't know what they were doing, but they were doing something. Everybody said, "Oh my God, Tangaloa! What the hell?" I was like, "Oh, should I turn it on?" I said, "If I turn it on, I'm never gonna get out this house."
Oh, wow!
So that's good.
When are the finals?
Well, so there's 3. There's like 3 shows left for this series, and then the finale will be after
that. Okay.
And that'll be the one where they'll have the 2 finalists will be the big matchups on that.
So after these 2, after these 2 tournaments are over, there's nothing else before Wrestle Kingdom, right? Or is it just one more show?
It's just that final show.
Okay.
Whoever ends up, the finals and them filling out the card with that, that'll certainly be the
because they got to give time for everybody to get back to the States, right? I mean, yeah, everybody get back from the States, right?
Well, I mean, whoever's still here that's going to be going back. I mean, there's no there's no way to tell. I mean,
Nick's quarantine and all that shit, right? Or not?
Yeah. They're saying that if you have a residence in Japan as well as citizens, I mean, you're still having to quarantine some when you get back, but
right.
I don't think it's quite as long as it was, but
because I would have started assuming people need to start going back now for Wrestle Kingdom, for the Kingdom, for the big Tokyo Dome show.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a month away, and even if you had to, they would still have like 2 weeks.
Yeah, don't they start doing interviews and all that shit, all that shit leading up to it, all the promotional stuff?
I mean, most of that's going to be, it was kind of taken care of with the G1,
Right.
The G1, and then these other two tournaments. I mean, that's all the big stuff, and then they got to figure out. I mean, they do. They got to figure out what they're doing with Noah on the day 3. So.
Right. Well, you know what? As long as 2 things happen, I'll be happy. 1, as long as Okada wins, I'm happy, and he keeps the belt. Fuck that Transformer shit. Okay,
Right.
1, and he stays in New Japan. He does not show up on AEW television. I'll be extremely happy.
See, New Japan said they're going to work with Noah, All Japan, DDT, all these other promotions across the country next year because of the 50th anniversary. So
Right.
I don't see them. I mean, that's a lot of travel in country, a lot of stuff to do in country. So I don't see any major. Nobody major from New Japan is going to be spending any extended amount of time in AEW. I wouldn't think.
Good, especially with Omega getting surgery. So because I kind of nixed the Okada thing right there. So that's good.
Hey, I have a question for you, Zeus. So
Yeah.
you had Julia and Shuri on the
Oh
graphic.
yeah.
So was there something you want to talk about with them, or?
Oh well, I mean they were ranked number 5.
Oh, on the PWI thing.
Yeah, because they do men and women's tag teams all together. So they got
okay.
They got ranked number 5. They've been was it Goddess of Stardom tag team champions for a long time. They got the match at the New Japan show, the stadium, big stadium show, right? And
they're on one of the days, yeah.
They're the highest ranking women's tag team.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's weird because like they're not really, like, their matches aren't very good as a team, like, to be honest about it. But I mean they've been champions. I think they've been holding on to the belts this long because Julia had the injury. I think they wanted to drop it off them before so they could free up Shuri for what's coming, because they're likely putting the red belt on her. But
I tell you that that's a crazy thing. Is that Donna Del Mondo? I mean, I'm a fan, but really just kind of the magnitude of not just how popular they are, but really, I mean, Shuri's good, and so is Micah. I mean, all 3 of those, that of the core of the team. I mean, they're all, legitimately good.
The thing with Shuri, you got to keep in mind, she is a veteran. Like, she was a legitimate main event star, like, in Japan for like more than a decade. So, I mean, she's in her 30s or whatever, but she's been at this a long time.
Yeah.
And her, like, there's that period of time in the 2010s, you had like her and Kana and a few others. They were like the big main event acts that weren't in Stardom, right? Because Stardom didn't start till 2010, 2011, and it took them a little bit to be kind of like the head of the Joshi kind of scene. So for a while, you have these freelancers who are just doing their thing, and of course, Shuri's also was doing the mixed martial arts at the same time she was doing the other thing.
Yeah.
And it's like her and Kana, they had a match in Arena Mexico when they're both freelancers. Like, they both had a match in CML, like, just against each other. They had a big feud on the scene, the Joshi scene back then, through a few different promotions. But like, she's part of that scene where they were like established main eventers of the Joshi scene as freelancers. So she has all this, history and kind of prestige coming into Stardom, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was funny to me in the last 2 years, her being in Stardom, people being like, "Oh, she's like being surprised, like she's good," and it's like, "Oh, I guess y'all didn't watch stuff." But yeah, it's not a surprise she's like getting where she is like at the moment, but
yeah,
it's sad that it's in the back of these horrible matches with Utami. But oh god, those matches are so bad.
Ooh.
Yeah, so. It's unfortunate what happened with Julia though, the injury. I'm a little scared about her returning, to be honest. There's a lot of injuries right now in the Joshi scene. I'm trying to remember. There was a girl who she got hit by COVID real bad. She had COVID and something else, some other medical situation came out of the COVID, and she claims she's retiring like from wrestling, but you know how that stuff goes. She'll likely be back in the future once medical stuff clears up.
Right.
But I can't, she's someone from one of the other promotions. And then you have Mio Momono, who's from Marvelous, but she does a lot of stuff with Sendai Girls. She's a fantastic young talent, but she's constantly doing stupid shit where she's getting just, you know, dropped on her head constantly. She's getting all these injuries the past 2 or 3 years. So she'll have these big moments and then she gets all these fucked up injuries. And now, like, she's having to take time off again because she's going to get, like, major spinal surgery. And it's, like, not a surprise. If you saw, like, all the time she's been dropped on her head this year, you're like, oh, that's not a surprise. And then the thing announced this week with Konami, she's been having health issues for a while. Her health issues seem to be, what is it, enteritis or something like that? Is that something with your intestines or?
Sounds kind of like something like that, doesn't it?
So apparently she's been having issues with that for a long time, and she was taking off a lot of stuff the past 2 months, and then she's kind of come back, and now she's saying after the pay-per-view in December or whatever, she's going to be basically going on hiatus for no one knows for how long, you know.
Right.
It's funny that you talk about retiring, right? You know, with all these wrestlers, they say they retire. You know, you have some of them that make a big spectacle out of it, and then 6 months later they make an appearance, or they're in this show and that show, or they're behind the scenes, they're back in the ring, they're a road agent, fine, etc., etc., etc. How about Leo Rush? You can say and all that stuff. But how about somebody who retires, who actually disassociates themselves from the business and truly retires? I mean, I can only think of one offhand. That's Rick Martel. He said he's going to retire, and he took himself away from the business completely. Gone.
Well, you know, so did Alex Wright.
Good. That's good, Zeus. Yes, very good. Yes.
It's like, you know, he's like, hey, I'm done. I'm just going to go home and be happy.
Yes.
You know,
he disassociated himself from it altogether. Yes.
And I mean, he could go around and do conventions. People would still probably love to see him.
Yeah. You don't do conventions. They don't do podcasts. They don't do none of that shit. They're gone. Like poof.
Yeah. Yeah. Rick Martel didn't. He just like, yeah, I'm
done. That's it. Anybody else we can think of? No, right? That's about it, right?
Although Rick Martel, didn't he like kind of suffer wasn't he kind of forced into it? Like he had too many injuries where he's like, well, I can't really do it anymore.
Could be.
But I know Vince offered him a spot, but he turned down everything. He can be an agent and stuff, but he turned down everything. He left the business.
Doesn't he have a pretty good like real?
He does some real estate. Yeah. You know, I mean, I can't. You know, there've been people who retire, but you always see them either on signings or in shows here doing this, or they'll make an appearance, or blah blah blah. But there's only a handful of people like up and left. Like, see ya. Like, I'm not coming back.
Real quick, just it's because it popped in my head. This is probably too obscure for anyone to care, but going back to the Joshi scene real fast, Ice Ribbon. Have y'all heard what's going on with them?
No. Tell us about it.
So a number of their main event acts have announced that they're leaving. Like at the end of this year, they're leaving Ice Ribbon. So Ice Ribbon is about to lose like almost like a third of their roster and all of their main event. No one's sure. Like they're all just kind of keeping it vague. Some of them are probably going to end up in Stardom.
Is it payoff issues or something like that? Is it money?
Well, it is. Money is a big issue in the current scene because of the COVID deal,
right?
Because of the pandemic, because they've discovered really only Stardom and Tokyo Joshi Pro will pay the wrestlers like a living wage. All the other ones are kind of like not enough to live by, and so if you're living show to show and your shows are like,
you're asked out.
Have like this period of a year or something where shows are, hard to schedule and stuff. And yeah, like the money stuff. Hibiki from Marvelous, she left the promotion. She closed out some angle that she was doing in Sendai Girls, and then she announced that she's leaving wrestling altogether. Because she flat out said it's money. Like she's like, not making money to live, and she's moving on to other stuff.
When you said money, and something just obscure to it, it just popped in my head. But as soon as you said money, I think a gimmick that would work today, that I think was ahead of its time, was Al Snow's Job Squad. Pin me, pay me. I think that could work today if done right. I'm just here to get paid. Pin me, pay me.
Yeah.
You know where that would work? I hate to say.
AEW.
You have a crew who's on like their YouTube shows. Like that's all they do.
I thought Pay Me was genius. But at the time, nobody was into it.
Oh yeah, but the Ice Ribbon, I don't know what that I don't know how that promotion survives. I'm being honest. I do not know. Like if all you have are like the rookie wrestlers and some of the lower mid card wrestlers and all your upper card people are gone, I don't know how that promotion survives.
Well, I enjoyed the WrestleCade shows. It just makes me want to wish I could have went that year with Zeus.
Oh yeah.
Because the looks of that show, it looked like it was fun.
Yeah.
So I can imagine all the stuff that we don't see. Like the whole sign days and everything like that, and like all the retrospectives and everything. So I can just imagine, it looks like an amazing weekend, or 4 days or whatever it is.
Yeah, 3 days. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 days, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. It would be awesome to go to WrestleCade. I do kind of like the idea of getting a table just to do the podcast from WrestleCade. And
the
rest of the time we just enjoy the convention.
I would be down to do that.
But we just have the table to do that show.
I'll be down to do that live from WrestleCade. All three of us sitting there chilling, like, what's up?
Yeah, and that it's kind of like what we used to do at when we would go to me and Jay and Jason would go to Heroes Convention, and we would we would have our table, but we would go see all the other guests that we wanted to see. We would we'd be able to get up and go around the show and still have fun.
You know what? If it's feasible, if this pandemic ever changes, if things ever die down, I think we should take a look into this. Why not?
I don't
Just
know.
one time. Just one time.
Yeah.
Just one time. Just fuck it. Why not, Pedro? Fuck it. You know?
Yeah, if we can ever get rid of this,
it would be an experience,
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it would have been an experience just to go as fans. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I was so looking forward to it.
I mean,
man.
now I better just go as
I crammed. Let me tell you something. I worked hard for that too. I crammed 3 months of appointments in a 1 month, man. Remember that run I was going on before?
Oh, yeah.
I had to get all that shit done. I had to get all that shit into it before I go. I said, before I leave, I got to get all this shit done. I moved up appointments, moved back appointments. I crammed it all in. I was like, I got to go. I got to go. So all 3 of us being there at the same time, I think it would be a great thing, man.
Hey, this is good.
I'm excited. Now I want to go.
I know this is good conversation, but I gotta cut this short. We gotta move on here. So, y'all got anything to plug coming up?
No. I'm just doing my thing, and
Zeus is living at school.
That's right.
No plugs here. Holiday stuff for me.
James, you got anything to plug besides
No plugs here. No plugs here. All holiday shit. I'm doing more cardiac rehab and more appointments, and that's about it.
Let's see. Tom's Weird Life on Wednesdays on social media. If people want to check out my Patreon, patreon.com/Texan Studios. I got a lot of stuff that's exclusive for patrons there at the moment.
Exclusive?
Yeah, which is, how much it costs to be a patron of my Patreon?
$1 a month.
$1 a month. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, there's some deals I've been doing called late night jams where I sing a few songs before I go to bed, and it's on
$1. You can't do much with $1 these days. You can sign up to Pedro's Patreon.
You get the full sized and unwatermarked versions of some art that'll be coming out going forward. So some stuff like that.
Look at that. For $1. You can't even get Missing Zero for $1. Maybe $1.25, but
oh, she's like the Dollar Tree. they raised their price
to $1.25.
Yeah. Right. Oh my goodness. Hey,
I'm classy now. I'm $1.25, baby.
Everyone take care, stay safe, and all that jazz. And adios.
Go get your boosters and where you got there, man. Peace.